How are y'all doing today? My name's Robert Adams from Method Living Production, and today we're going to catch you up on Infinity War. In the spirit of the Avengers, if you've seen the Avengers, I'm going to sit here and eat a plate of shawarma. If you're familiar with the Austin area, or if you happen to be visiting the Austin area, I got this from a food truck here called Abu Youssef. It is really good, and pretty much ever since the first Avengers movie came out is when I first tried shawarma, and now I am in love with this food truck, so absolutely love it. I highly recommend check out Abu Youssef. So yeah, while I'm checking out this shawarma, I'm going to give you a crash course on what you should expect and what to watch before you get into Avengers Infinity War. Now, I don't want to go and spoil too much of all of this. What I'm going to do is fairly go through like the list of the movies that has come out from the Marvel Cinematic Universe already, and kind of give you a yay or nay type of vote on if you should watch them. I definitely recommend Iron Man, just because it sets up Iron Man and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Incredible Hulk, I will honestly give my opinion. I think you could skip Incredible Hulk. For the most part, everybody knows who the Hulk is. You know it's Bruce Banner. You know he gets upset and he turns green and becomes a big monster when he gets angry. So you can probably skip that because you really don't need anything from Incredible Hulk to going into the other movies. So, yeah, just pass on that. Plus, it's not the same actor playing Bruce Banner in the in Infinity War, anyways, or the other Avengers movies, so it doesn't really matter. So, stuffed grape leaves, commonly referred to as dolmas, Greek food, really good. Iron Man 2. Skip it. There's not really anything of importance in Iron Man 2. It introduces Black Widow, but the beginning of Avengers does enough to introduce Black Widow and show how awesome she is and how well she can fight and that she's a super spy, yada yada yada. No reason for Iron Man 2 to be included in there. Thor. Thor overall, I would have said that you could skip, but the thing is what's happening in the later movies is that Thor seems to be the more focus as going after the Infinity Stones. And I'll mention it again in a little bit, but it's really, I would say Thor is the one that has the most link out of all the Earthbound Avengers, Marvel Cinematic characters. He's the one that is probably closer to finding out about the stones, realizing what the stones are, and looking for them. Plus, it sets up Loki as well, and the fact that Loki is going to be always manipulating or tricking his way into whoever he can's good graces. So I would recommend Thor. The next one I would recommend would be Captain America the First Avenger. The thing about Captain America the First Avenger is not only does it set up Captain America himself, which I think is a very, out of all the characters, I would say between Iron Man and Captain America are the two major ones that really are the heart of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the most part. Captain America the First Avenger does set up the story of Steve Rogers. It does center on who Captain America is essentially at heart. It also introduces us to the first Infinity Stone, which is not really giving too much away, but the first Infinity Stone is the Tesseract, which will come into more play later on. But not all of these movies I'm going to recommend. I would recommend them just because they have an Infinity Stone, but I will touch upon that as we go. So yeah, I would recommend Captain America the First Avenger. Right after that was The Avengers, and I would definitely recommend The Avengers. It's one of the best comic book superhero movies of all time. And it does play in more with the Tesseract and stuff, and especially with bringing back Loki as the main villain, definitely shows kind of like what he could be up to in that. The other reason I recommend the Avengers is by that time you've gotten used to, and even by now you should be used to the fact that there are after credit scenes in these movies. There is a very important after credit scene in Avengers, mainly because it's going to strongly hint and show what exactly, or I should say, who exactly we're going to be dealing with at the end, or in Infinity War. So, highly recommend Avengers and Shawarma. Next after that was Iron Man 3. Skip it. The next one is Thor: The Dark World. Now, here's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Oh, hummus is so good too. That it does introduce another Infinity Stone. And that would be the only reason I would recommend watch Thor: The Dark World. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about the one Infinity Stone that's in there, watch it. If not, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, watch it. One of the best movies, if not pretty close to the best movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's fantastic. Again, it sets up a whole lot of mess for Steve Rogers, Captain America, to have to deal with. Grape leaves. Good. The next one is Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely recommend Guardians of the Galaxy as far as it sets up the whole outer space part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So a lot of key importance there. Also of key importance is the first real showing of Thanos, who was hinted at before, but this is the first time he's actually in a movie, speaking, doing something. And that kind of shows, again, the beginning of where he's coming from and what he'll be doing later on. Also with Guardians of the Galaxy is there is a piece in there with a being known as the Collector who explains what the Infinity Stones are. For anyone who has no clue exactly how powerful these little MacGuffins are supposed to be, watch Guardians of the Galaxy. So highly, highly, highly recommend Guardians of the Galaxy. Avengers: Age of Ultron does kind of set up another Infinity Stone, which surprisingly has been there already. We just didn't know it was an Infinity Stone. And it also introduces us to a couple of new characters, being Scarlet Witch and Vision. Vision is of very key importance as far as this Infinity Stone goes, so highly recommend that. Also sets up the talk about Wakanda. It introduces us to Ulysses Claw, who was in Black Panther. And then it also deals with the issue of the city, country of Sokovia, which will play into further movies down the line. Also, Thor's starting to understand that something else is at play in between all these like random fights with a robot and with Loki and all this other stuff that's happening. He's starting to piece it together, and he starts to find out about the Infinity Stones. Ant-Man is the next one, and overall, the only thing you really need to know from Ant-Man so far up until this point is that Scott Lang used to be a criminal, now he's a superhero. And at some point in Ant-Man, he has a fun little bout with Falcon. That's about it. Other than that, skip it. Although I highly recommend watching it because it was pretty funny. Captain America's Civil War, Thor's off looking for the Infinity Stones. Everyone else is having an issue because of what happened in Sokovia. Plus the introduction of Black Panther and the introduction of Spider-Man in that movie. So, highly recommend that. Doctor Strange. The thing with Doctor Strange is they do set him up as a character. As of right now, from the way the Marvel Cinematic Universe looks, you don't really need to know his backstory going into Infinity War. You do need to know that he's a sorcerer, which, I mean, for the most part, you'll see in pieces of Thor Ragnarok. So not really a full reason to watch it. The only thing I would recommend in it is it does set up another Infinity Stone, and it's a fairly important Infinity Stone, and it is a really good movie. So if you want to watch where the Infinity Stones come from, again, like Thor: The Dark World, I recommend watching it. If you just want to quickly get through as many movies as possible to get ready for Infinity War, skip it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. As far as I can tell, there's absolutely nothing in that movie that shows or leads into Avengers Infinity War. Completely skip it. Spider-Man Homecoming. Now here's the thing with the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. As of right now, we don't know exactly how big of a part Spider-Man plays in these. So without knowing that, I can't fully recommend this movie. Yes, there is a bit in the movie about upping Peter Parker's powers, his costume, and whatnot. And we've seen that he does have a higher superpowered costume in the trailer for Infinity War. I'm pretty sure there will be something in Infinity War that covers how he got that, where he got that, which if you've seen Spider-Man Homecoming already, you know, but I'm pretty sure it'll be covered again. So, my opinion, skip Spider-Man Homecoming. You know everything you need to know about him from Civil War, and what little pieces you'll be caught up on probably at some point in Infinity War. Thor Ragnarok. Definitely recommend catching that. Just because, again, that ordeal with Thor and Loki and all that stuff, reintroducing Doctor Strange, showing that he is a sorcerer at the beginning. All of that I feel like is very key in right before going into Infinity War. Plus there's something that happens at the end that looks like it's about to lead like straight into Infinity War. So probably need to see that just so you know exactly where Thor and Loki are come the beginning of Infinity War. And finally, the last one, Black Panther, which according to the current numbers of box office performance, chances are you've already seen it. If you haven't, I recommend highly go seeing it pretty quickly. It does set up Wakanda. The trailers for Infinity War show what looks like a major part of that movie is going to happen in Wakanda. So it looks like you probably need to know all about Wakanda and some of the people that live there, not just Black Panther himself. Roughly, that's about it. Definitely, if you can find like a good shawarma joint where you're at, definitely pick up some shawarma. It's very good. Thanks to Tony Stark and his need to try shawarma. Which I'm wondering how someone just wants to try food just by knowing only the name, because he didn't know anything else about it. But it's really good. So that's going to be about it for this video, and I'm still going to work on this food. So once again, I'm Robert Adams from Cinefanatics, from Method Living Productions. Please check us out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, like, comment, share, you know, the YouTube things. Yeah, until then, see ya. Alright, we're good. I gotta talk about movies when I got shawarma in front of me. Jeez. You know, in Avengers, Captain America also had the mustache, and he just covered his mustache with a fist. Why didn't they do that in the Justice League?